In today's video, I want to show you a fantastic variation of Italian game. It's a gambit that actually is not correct, but practically speaking is very effective. So I think it is a very worthy try for blitz games. Okay, without further ado, I'll jump right into the ideas. Hey there, as you can see, I'm not in my usual studio. I'm on vacation at Budapest, and I have to apologize for the bad quality of the microphone and the bad lighting. Thank you. I'm going to show you the ideas of the Gambit by analyzing an Alexander Alekhine game, a simultaneous game against an unknown player in 1911. Well, the idea is the following: e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, the Italian game, bishop c5. Yeah, this is the main variation, of course. Knight f6, but you must be prepared to face knight g5, and this is not everybody's cup of tea. And now c3. Yeah, we are preparing d4 to create a strong center, and black's normal answer is knight f6, putting pressure on e4. Now d4, e takes d4, and here Alekhine chooses to castle. Well, nowadays we know that c takes d4 and e5 are the most effective continuations. Both are, e5 especially is the most promising and is really interesting. Instead, c takes e4 runs into bishop b4. If it wasn't for this check, the pawns would be really strong. They could establish in the center and will be cause really serious problems for the knights. So after the check, the e4 pawn is falling. After castling, black has several choices. Yeah, they can keep capturing, d takes c3, that is, by the way, is the most popular on chess. They can also castle, that looks completely normal. They want to bring the king to security. This is actually what happened in the game. But the best move by far is knight takes e4. Alekhine's opponent played castle, and c takes d4, and it's a major difference in here. Now bishop b4 is not a check any longer, so we would be able to use the pawns by playing d5 and e5. And this is our objective in this variation, to use these fantastic central pawns to gain space by attacking black's knights. Okay, after bishop b6, we must decide which pawn to advance. Which one you think is better, d5 or e5? Well, actually the best is d5. Yeah, the thing with d5 is that d5 can be a good answer as it provides a secure post for the knight on e4, while d5 is almost sure followed by e5 next move. Yeah, the only way to avoid it might be knight a5, but after bishop d3, this knight has a very bad perspectives. b4 is coming, and even when the knight couldn't be lost, as something like, for instance, c5, the knight is doing absolutely nothing here, and we are doing much better after a simple move like knight c3. We are having the center, even this kind of Benoni position with the knight here and the bishop here. Black is not doing okay. The game continued with knight e7, e5. Yeah, Alekhine is fighting for the initiative and winning tempi against the knights. Knight e8. Yeah, now it's clear that the knight cannot come to e4, as yeah, queen c2 might be okay. We put pressure on the knight, and well, the knight will have to move again, and we'll have sometimes knight g5. Once the knight is out, well, we can play even before, but knight g5 looks pretty strong as well. We're threatening mate on h7, we're putting pressure on f7, d6. So this has to be winning. b4 is coming as well. Everything is coming. So e5 forces knight e8, and now Alekhine continues with d6. Yeah, this one squeezes completely black's position. Yeah, now both the bishop and the rook will be really difficult to develop for black. And yeah, with such a big advantage in mobilization, white is winning. C takes d6, e takes d6, knight g6. Well, the bishop is pretty active. Alekhine also got this square for a knight, knight c3, knight d5. But he's threatening black's pieces all the time, and this move is no exception, so he plays bishop g5, attacking the queen, forcing knight f6, and continues with the normal development with knight c3. Well, now black tries to unpin with h6, and here Alekhine found a pretty nice way to continue with the initiative. There are several ways, but he decided to play queen c2. Yeah, he sacrifices this bishop, and his opponent took it, but the idea is to recover the piece by taking advantage of the pin of the f7 pawn. Yeah, f takes g6 is not possible due to the pin. So now Alekhine is threatening knight takes g5, and after knight h7, yeah, the game is reaching its, well, its climax, no, its end. Now there are several ways to continue. Putting more pressure here looks completely normal, something like knight e5, but perhaps Alekhine wanted to avoid something like queen f6. So instead of knight e5, he found a very beautiful move. Can you find Alekhine's move? If you want, you can stop the video and try to find Alekhine's fantastic idea. Well, he played knight d5. Yes, he's sacrificing the queen, but it actually is not a sacrifice, as if black captures, the game is going to be over in only 2 moves. Knight e7, double check with the knight and with the bishop, and after king h8, knight takes g6, checkmate. So this is knight d5 hidden idea. The knight wants to reach e7 and then capture the f7 pawn. And there is very little black can do to survive here. The game continued with, yeah, and by the way, of course, knight d5 stops queen f6. Queen f6 is not possible because of the knight. So the game continued with king h8, and Alekhine played knight e7. Yeah, again, he's taking advantage of f takes g6, knight g6, checkmate. And he's threatening bishop takes f7. Well, this really, it's impossible for black to survive here. Alekhine's opponent captured the knight. It's interesting to see, it's beautiful to see that queen e8 is answered by knight e5. And yeah, in case of f takes g6, again, knight takes g6, and well, one more time, the checkmate. So queen e8 is answered by knight e5, attacking f7, and well, it's impossible to defend. So queen e7 is a desperate attempt to continue playing, but the game won't last for long, as you'll see. F takes g6. Alekhine's opponent was ready to sacrifice the exchange to continue the game, but Alekhine played knight e5, threatening mate again, and there is absolutely nothing black can do to avoid it, because this pawn is capturing the rook, or sometimes is even queening, and well, his opponent resigned in just 19 moves. So the idea of this move order, I mean after knight f6, d4, e takes d4, and castle, is to trick your opponents and recapture here, attacking the bishop without allowing bishop b4. And this can happen if your opponent plays castle, what actually happens quite often in lichess. Most of the bad lines are pretty popular on lichess, so that's what makes this variation attractive. And yeah, we can always give it a try in blitz games or in games against lesser experienced opponents. Okay, I hope you find it interesting. Remember to give me a thumbs up if you're liking the material I'm sharing, and to subscribe to the channel in case you haven't done it. So thank you very much, and see you next time. Goodbye.